I'm Meredith Aronson, CEO of Citiafied. I grew up in a family where having a voice in where you lived mattered. My father wrote long letters in longhand to his local congressman. I remember him doing door-to-door canvassing. And for me, that's been a journey of understanding that we have a role to play in the places we live. Citiafied has grown out of that interest. A modern sort of view of what's possible seems to me what the roots of Citiafied are about. In very much creating platforms in a modern way so that citizens can connect with municipal officials and vice versa. We're excited to be here. We're excited about the possibility of what Citiafied could do within our communities. Hi, so why Citiafied? 15 years ago, I had the opportunity to be a public servant. I was a council person and ultimately mayor of a small community of 900 people in southern Arizona. When you're a mayor of a town that looks a bit like this, you can walk down the main street and talk to people about what their opinions are. You can talk to them about what they think you should be doing or not doing. And you can also go door to door, raising money for projects your town may not have money for. Well, realistically, we live in a country of 319 million people, and most of us don't live in places that look quite like that. Needless to say, most places tend to have public forums that look more like this. Municipal officials talking to empty rooms. In our interviews with potential users and participants in our system early on, we heard from municipal officials, this city of 500,000 people is being run by 200 people in the community. On the other side, from citizens, we heard things like, why should I bother? My voice won't be heard anyway. What we understand is in this country, people vote differentially. A lot of people come out for the presidential elections, fewer for the off-year elections, which are state and regional, and fewer yet for the local municipal elections. 2011, of the eligible voters here in Tucson, about 20% of the population came out to vote. On top of that, if you look at the age range for people who are voting, what we understand is the range from 18 to 45 is in fact the population you'd want to be very active in their communities in terms of decision making, and yet these are the players who are least active. When we look at smartphone use, we see the opposite pattern, not surprisingly. And those age bands are in fact most active on smartphone. This we think is an opportunity. The average American spends 8 minutes a day on the combination of civic and religious volunteering. That same population spends 40 minutes a day on Facebook. If that's not an opportunity for municipalities, I don't know what is. Our customers, there are 5,000 municipalities in this country, over 15,000 residents. These municipalities spend a lot of time and money trying to connect to and communicate with their citizen base through polling, surveys, listservs, emails, one-on-one phone calls and meetings. These are huge numbers of resources. So when we look at the competition, it's not surprising in a sense that the apps that are emerging are coming out in those areas. Apps that are building social networks, supporting funding within municipalities or regions, opinions in polls, and initiatives that are citizen-driven grassroots efforts. So we see these kinds of apps emerging, both at the local level and ones that you might be familiar with. iCitizen, which is a polling app that is more typical at the federal or state level, and Change.org, which you might be familiar with at a global level. Citiafied takes on not a single area of engagement, but takes on the range of areas of engagement together, working across civic networks, funding opinions and initiatives in a single application. As a result, our features accumulate across these areas. We offer funding mechanisms for funding on the part of the municipality, polling or opinions, grassroots efforts and initiatives, and forums that wrap around each of those engagement activities so that people have an opportunity both on the municipal side and the citizen side to add richness to those debates. We know this system as an app can only work if there's a relationship between our customer, the municipality, and the citizens or users in that community. As a result, we understand that users are going to need a mechanism for gamification, leaderboards, awards, rewards that motivate their participation in a civic network. In return, the municipality, which is the customer, gets refined analytics about what those individuals are learning, what their opinions are, and what their positions are on critical issues. The civic engagement tech market, that is the amount of the market that governments are paying for this effort, is $640 million a year. 90% of that is likely spent in communities over 15,000 residents, 575 million. By 2018, Citiafied expects to achieve $5 to $20 million in annual revenue, depending on the pace of entering the market opportunity. Our business model will be a monthly subscription of $1,200 to $6,100 per municipality. That range is simply reflecting there are different population bands, along with options that would go with packages for Citiafied for the municipalities. In addition, there'll be processing fees of 10% against the capital campaigns in the app. Our go-to-market strategy starts in 2015 with a development partner and pre-sales. As we come into 2016 with a built app, we'll start to work networks in Arizona, Florida, and New Jersey, and begin to build regionally and nationally after that. By 2017, as that user base begins to build strength, we'll be able to see revenue coming from the capital campaigns or funding efforts locally. We'll have community organizations such as school districts and chambers of commerce that will join us in the later years in 2017 as well, with an understanding that by 2019 we should have a pretty good database and set of data about municipalities. Looking then to leverage into additional markets in education and corporate HR using the features of this app. We've assembled, I think, a team that has the breadth and depth to be very effective with Citiafied. Myself, as well as a group of 4 players who bring a range of skills to the table, over 50 years of experience in regional development and tech, having launched several companies in the group of us. We started this path in April of this year with a seed idea. We joined the Thrive Incubator in May and have spent the summer working with a fabulous team, Tony, Justin, and Greg, trying to mature this idea into a viable business concept. The good news is we had a beautiful meeting, a fantastic meeting just last week with Miami-Dade County in Florida, who has agreed verbally to be our development partner for the app. As a result, we are now in a position to launch Citiafied as a formal organization and move forward into our pre-sales cycle. So where are we right now? Busy, obviously, and looking for a couple of things. We're looking for connections, personal connections to municipal leaders here in Arizona or in other areas for those of you who have those connections. And as we come into the second quarter of 2016, we'll be looking specifically for a municipal sales player for the West Coast and Mountain West. I'm Meredith Aronson. Pleased to talk to you tonight about Citiafied and look forward to hearing more from you later this evening. Thank you.